Hi, Sean Still, and in this video, I want to talk about some of the roles that we typically find on a team because that is going to be relevant to some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in future videos. Um, so, with that said, this is the typical team and the members that support the team and their lines of connection. All right. So in the circle, we've got our development team made up of anywhere from 5 to 8 people is typical. Anytime you fall below five, sometimes the team will be less than optimized. If you go above 8 or 9, the team can also be less than optimized. So the good rule of thumb is that 2 medium pizzas should be able to feed your team lunch. Uh, so so that's one that's been out there for a while. I highly recommend that you follow it. Okay, but we've got our development team. Um, Helping or facilitating the team is the Scrum Master. All right, so the Scrum Master is a direct link to the team. The Scrum Master also fills a couple other roles, and that they are a direct link to the product owner, and they are a direct link to the Jira administrator. So if in Jira there are some fields that are missing or some fields that aren't relevant, if the workflow needs to be changed, if the permissions need to be adjusted, whatever the case may be, the Scrum Master is going to work with the Jira administrator on behalf of the team to get their project optimized. We don't want the development team doing this because we want the development team really focused on the development work that they have on their plate. All right, so that's where we employ our Scrum Master to be that conduit from the team to the Jira administrator to make sure that the team is getting everything that it needs. We also have the product owner. The product owner is the team's representative of the customer. So the product owner is going to work with the customers to understand what their needs are and translate those into stories that the development team can consume and execute on. Um, so the development team very rarely interacts with the customer. All right. If they have a question that is customer based, they will work through the product owner to get that answered or resolved. At the same time, the relationship between the Scrum Master and the product owner is really important, all right, because the Scrum Master can act on the team's behalf when it comes to sometimes negotiating with the product owner or helping the product owner to see the reality of what is happening within the team, feed the product owner key information, anything that it takes to keep the team as efficient as possible. The Scrum Master is going to do, and that includes working very, very closely with the product owner. In some cases, they will help the product owner in writing stories. Um, but remember that the product owner is ultimately responsible for the stories that are written into Jira. Even though anybody can write a story, it is the product owner that is always going to be responsible for the content of that story. So this is really important information as we move forward. Um, so I want you to keep these roles in mind. Your organization may look somewhat different, and that's okay. But make sure that you do understand who the key players are, what their roles are, and how they interact with each other. So if your organization is a little different, I recommend that you put something like this together so that you can share with others, so that there is a mutual understanding of really kind of who is doing what. One of the other things that if you notice, I always put the Scrum Master closer to the team because the Scrum Master is not a part of the team. but they actually do help facilitate for the team. They are a servant leader, so they are going to do whatever it takes to help the team be successful or as efficient as possible. The product owner sits a little bit further outside of the development team, and then the customer rarely has any interaction with the team whatsoever. And then the Jira administrator sits on their own. They're kind of like the Wizard of Oz. They're the one behind the curtains pulling the levers to make sure that the team has everything that they need in their Jira project to help them execute. So that's some of the roles, really important as we move forward. If you don't have anything like this, I highly recommend that you create one. All right, thank you much. Bye.